right, what's up, YouTube? We are back, the GoatCast podcast. I am CW, joined here by someone I might have seen this weekend, Big Nine. What's going on, Big Nine? I think we crossed paths a little bit this weekend.
Yeah, we definitely crossed paths. We had a good old time, but I'm doing good, and I'm ready for this video today. Got a good video, good topic for y'all.
And before we hop into that, we just want to say we appreciate everybody subscribing to the channel. Please like, it really helps us, with the algorithm. But in our defense, we had a lot of people come out for that Hall of Fame video, and it was just based on our criteria. We weren't trying to say that James Harden and some of those other guys or Draymond Green weren't Hall of Famers. We were just saying that based on how we would judge a player getting into the Hall of Fame, that's kind of where our thought process and opinions came from. So, we're taking strays and taking bullets for some of that, but that's because he's a little tougher on him than I was. So, but just respect the opinions. But hopping into our discussion for tonight, a lot of talk has come from sports media about the women's Team USA 2024, the players that will be representing Paris to hopefully bring us home some gold. And these are the names. And I guess I'll go through them real quick. There's Aja Wilson, Alyssa Thomas, Breanna Stewart, Brittany Griner, Chelsea Gray, Deanna Taurasi, Jackie Young, Jewel Lloyd, Kali Copper, Kelsey Plum, Nafisa Collier, and Sabrina Ionescu. I hope I said that right. Those are the women that will be representing the United States this year. And some notable names are not on this roster. One being the new darling Caitlin Clark, who's just been the center of attention for the WNBA. I don't think there's a segment or a show that's gone by that hasn't mentioned her name so far this WNBA season. So, I mean, that's a good thing. They're getting a lot of talk. Some good, some bad. So our first topic for tonight was Caitlin Clark. And as you see, there's no rookie currently on there. Angel Reese isn't on there. Cameron Brink also playing pretty well. They're playing well as well, but they are not currently on the roster and won't be on the roster. So do you think Caitlin Clark was snubbed from Team USA?
Okay, so before I get into this, let me say this, okay? So obviously this isn't really directly tied to the WNBA as it is the Team USA committee, like the people who went in and, decided to put this roster together. I think they missed the ball on this one. I think Caitlin Clark, albeit if we're not talking about a basketball perspective, because sure, she has not proven herself to be on this roster to compete at that level, right? But if we're talking about if the end goal is to put more seats, in the arena, to globalize your brand, this is where I'm thinking that the people in place aren't making the best decisions to increase your brand. Because let's be honest here, for the past couple of years, we know good and well the women's team is going to win the gold, right? So if we're talking about competing, we're talking about competing at the highest level. You take one of those people off this team, they're guaranteed to win the gold. So let's stop the noise about she's not ready to play at this level and she hasn't earned her spot. Okay, we get this, right? And I'm gonna just go ahead and call her out. Diana Taurasi, much love to her. She's about 75 years old out there. Her spot could have been given. Listen. We talking about globalizing the brand. We talking about putting more money in these women's pocket that they're very deserving of, but it has to start somewhere. And everybody wants to bring up, Caitlin Clark's not ready. There's been plenty of rookies to join the Team USA, right? In 2008, it was Candace Parker, and I think the next year after that, it was Breanna Stewart in 2012 or 2016, whatever the year. And it was just we have seen rookies join the Team USA. Obviously they weren't key contributors off the jump. And you wouldn't even have to play Caitlin Clark that much. But if you put her on that team, jersey sales are going to go through the roof. Attendance is going to go through the roof. You can even ask people around you, right? Who's watching the Olympics, right? And there's probably a good amount of people who are going to watch the Olympics. But then you add the Caitlin Clark element, which we both know that's almost doubling your viewership just with her namesake alone. You don't even have to play her that much. And if they're going to be smacking teams like they've been doing anyway, she can get some garbage time minutes. She can play and get reps with these, superstar WNBA players that can elevate her to get to the next level faster, which in turn, she's seeing the work ethic from these ladies. She's seeing the drive, what it takes to be at their level, because clearly she's not there yet. This is the face of your league. And again, I know the committee for Team USA is different than the WNBA and as a whole. But if we're just talking about aligning our goals, and you got the greatest people from the WNBA coming to play for Team USA, I would think their goals should intertwine a little bit in terms of pushing that brand to be a more global brand. They have the success, they have the players, they're just lacking the cachet. And that's why I think they're missing the ballpark by not adding Caitlin Clark.
Okay. I mean, I get that. And I would say I would completely agree with you. If the Olympics were taking place here in the States, then of course you want to put superstars on your roster. The fact that it's in Paris, I mean, they're going for the gold. I mean, yes, they're likely going to smack all these teams, but I get what they're doing. They could have taken one or two people off to insert one of these newer players, have them on the roster, get that, get the eyeballs from those that are new, are finally supporting the WNBA. But you gotta understand probably what their mindset was. They want these girls, these women, because they have international experience. Most of those women have not only played WNBA basketball, but they played overseas. So they know how the game flows and how of course FIBA has different rules. So they can they're already acclimated to that. Most of them, I will say that. And Candace Parker made it because they needed her height. She's, if Caitlin Clark was 6'6", 6'7", it'd be a different story. But she's a wing player, and they got plenty of wing players. And yeah, they could have just said, Deanna, you're 41, sit this one out. But it's kind of like LeBron James. LeBron James could have sat this one out, gave that spot to a younger player.
Come on now. No. Come on now. No. We're talking about globalizing the brand. We're talking about the biggest names.
But that's not what the Olympics is about. Because of Dream Team and all that, that's what they made it about. But it's not about the superstars. It's not about bringing eyeballs. I mean, you're not making any extra money other than, jersey sales. But
who you bringing in over LeBron then?
What'd you say?
Who you bringing in over LeBron then? If you're talking about he could have sat down.
I mean, you can bring in a plethora of players, and the Team USA is probably going to win that.
Cap.
You can bring in Paulo, but back to my point. Yes, they could have. You could have with that roster. But back to my point. Yes, they could have added Caitlin Clark, but the one thing is they didn't even try out. Of course, they couldn't because they were still involved in the Final Four, but they didn't even go to the tryouts for it. So, I mean, there's that caveat. But I just think they're looking at winning, and that's what Olympic basketball or Olympic sports is all about. You want to bring your best athletes there, and it's not about the pomp and circumstance or the pageantry. If this was an all-star game, yeah, you put Caitlin Clark out there for an all-star game because that's going to bring the most eyeballs. But the Olympics, no, I'm okay with her being left off. I would think, somebody like Angel Reese would be, someone that they would look at because she's bigger, she can rebound, and you want that in an international game because the physicality is going to be a whole lot more than even the WNBA presents because, as you know, FIBA rules allow a little more physicality. And thank you, alleged. Actually, yes, please do not focus on LeBron James. I just used that
That
as
was
an
a bad
example.
example, though. I'm just saying.
And that was a
bad
perfect example because he's old, like you said, and you were trying to put Deanna off of that team, but you put your oldest player off of the men's team, and you're still going to win that gold most likely, unless y'all just have a absolute collapse. Because who's going to beat them? Canada. I don't see any other.
Canada has a really good team, though. Canada
does,
is tough.
But I mean, you can be with LeBronless and still win that ring. I mean, that gold. So I just think they were looking at this from a basketball perspective, and that's the main reason why she was left off. Yes, she's not proven yet. She doesn't have any international experience. So I mean, that probably went into their thought process. They're not thinking about marketing and all those other things because I mean, who's going to make the money? The NBA from jerseys?
Can I follow up with a question then?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so on this roster that you pulled up, now Chelsea Gray, and yeah, you can pull it back up, but Chelsea Gray has yet to play a single dribble this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was she getting the nod? And even if you don't want to say Caitlin Clark, even though I believe she should be there, but what about? I think there's a lady that's Arike Agumake.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's averaging about 26 points a game. Why do you think that Chelsea Gray got the nod over her?
She's American born.
I want to say she
not.
is.
That's the obvious answer, but
I'm pretty sure she's averaging 26 points a game. I'm pretty sure. I'm not the first one that brought this up, but I'm pretty sure like she was on the snub list.
Okay.
Behind,
I mean, maybe they're going for the who fits with who. I mean, I'm not sure about that. Because there's probably players that deserved it that been in the WNBA for a while that probably deserved it over some of these women, but they're probably looking at their foreign experience, their fit together. Because that means a lot because you can throw out the best players, but if they have no kind of chemistry, if they're not going to work, if everybody has to have the ball, then there's going to be no ball movement. There's going to be no kind of good basketball in that situation. So, I mean, to me, that's probably why they picked the players they picked because they know they can work together. And Caitlin Clark is not experienced. So, I mean, she's averaging 16 points, a lot of turnovers. She's small. She's not a really good. I mean, if she was a great defender and she could score, I would say, yeah, why would you not put that on there? But she's not a great defender. So, I mean.
Then why put her on the alternate? Like, why put her as an alternate? Like, and
because she's not bad. She's not terrible.
But if you have her as an alternate, then you're already considering her for that spot.
Yeah,
and
if
we understand how Team USA works, we understand that there's going to be some bench warmers out there. There's going to be some women out there who could contribute, who are just not going to get that much run. So if we're talking about,
so you just want her on the roster just for the eyeballs, just for the.
Yes, you can bring her in to global to help build your brand, to help put money in these females' pockets. Like, we're not going to sit here and act like having her on the team would not boost the sales and drive Team USA even to a more marketable stance than they already are. And I get that's not their focus, but if you can kill two birds with one stone, I don't see why they would do it. And I'm going to follow up with this, right? Mm-hmm. So me and you both agree Caitlin Clark's hype is at its highest as of this moment, right? So let's just say if we are both in agreement that they should wait till the next 4 years, until the next time, right? Mm-hmm. And what if she continues to struggle? What if they start labeling her as a bust? Okay. So with that, then there comes the question, dang, we didn't get to capitalize on the hype train that was Caitlin Clark when she was at her best. Now 4 years has come. Now this product's kind of damaged goods. She's not as good as we projected her to be. She's still shooting 30% from the 3-point line. She's still, hasn't adjusted to the physicality. People aren't tuning in as much. Whereas if you would have put her in the beginning, she would have learned from those players sooner. She would have 4 years to take their lessons to heart. So come in the next Olympics, you have more narratives, right? If she stays on the team and they win, then the next Olympics, can she repeat without the big guns? With some of them kind of aging out. Or if they lose, if they somehow found a way to lose, Caitlin Clark can bring the rookie class that she has and people coming along like Paige Buchers and other, great women players coming up. Can they avenge their collapse from the last Olympics? There's so many narratives that you can spin. You can market the Olympics better. Yeah. You can do so much more by just putting her on the team. She doesn't even have to play that much.
So you just want her on there for the optics, is what you're saying. It's just so they see her there. So that's just so she's there. Even if she's playing, she's not playing.
Yes, because that is the first step in globalizing.
Does that not damage her more than her? Imagine Steph Curry on a Olympic team and he doesn't play. Does that help his brand? Does that help? LeBron James. If they don't play LeBron James during the Olympics, is that going to be good for LeBron's legacy?
We already saw that back in, was it 04?
04,
08?
He played.
But he didn't play like we understand that the whole Redeem team and everything. There was a reason. LeBron, he didn't play as much as they would have thought he would have, but there was vets ahead of him that it just wasn't LeBron's time. But he was still on the roster. He still learned from those players.
Did that boost his legacy or boost his legend at that time? Just him being out there on the Team USA. If he had not put him on there, would that have changed anything about LeBron James?
He wouldn't have got the Olympic experience to come back the next year and dominate. It's the same thing. You're talking about passing the torch. If she is your face, why wait another 4 years to put her there when she's good enough right now?
Because she's only played 13 WNBA games.
What's wrong with that?
That's not. Does that make an Olympic level player when you have women that have played for years, that have proven themselves, that have won championships, won MVPs, all of that? Is that not enough for them to be able to represent the U.S.? And you would take away that opportunity for them, for Caitlin Clark, just for the eye candy, just for the pageantry of having possibly the next great thing just on the roster.
Yes.
Some of these women are about to phase out because they're getting older. Their career is coming to an end. So you don't give them that opportunity just for someone that's going to have the opportunity for years to come. She's, even if she's a bust, they're going to find a way, unless she's just completely terrible, to market her in some form or fashion. As long as she stays healthy, as long as she has some semblance of a okay game and she's not out there putting up, triple singles, she's going to. They're going to push her.
But we know nothing is promised. If she's the hottest thing since sliced bread right now, you need to optimize on this gym before something could happen. Injuries can derail the career. Someone else could come through and make her look like nothing, right? Maybe they try to push this next person coming along, but this is your chance right now to push your sport, to get new renegotiated deals, to pay these players, the players that you just mentioned that are the high level players that deserve the max dollars. Right, the max is what, $200-something thousand?
The Olympics are not going to help that, other than maybe bringing in more eyeballs.
But more eyeballs can bring in viewership.
Is the WNBA big enough to get those global eyeballs? Do people even outside of America know much about Caitlin Clark?
What if she were to put on a show, though? What if she, along with the other amazing WNBA players, if they put on a show and they make a statement, and Caitlin Clark is a part of that team, and they make history, right? I'm saying they beat teams by like 40 plus points. They make history with her on the team. So not only Caitlin Clark gets the credit, right? Because she's just a contributor. She's not the lead. She's not the lead yet. She's gonna lead her crew eventually, but right now she's a backup to the Aja Wilsons, Kelsey Plums, et cetera, et cetera. You get to drive the narrative. You get to continue to build off of something, right? But if you don't have her on the team and you guys win, well, what difference was it from the year before? Where do we build? Where do we market?
If they lose,
okay, and if they lose, what? Then what? Where's the story?
Does that hurt the narrative that you had this rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark, on there, and they can't beat the rest of the world?
No, because you got more people paying attention. Like think of it like this, right? So if Caitlin Clark is getting this much viewership, if she's taking the Indiana Fever's average attendance to like 4,000, 5,000, whatever, to almost 17,000, think of it like that. They're willing to watch the god-awful Indiana Fever just to see Caitlin Clark. Okay, you put that, and you actually put good players around her, like the Olympic players on that team, that viewership would go astronomically bigger. And they stopped the season. They literally played the Olympics, 7 practices after the final dribble of the WNBA season? Because they play on July 29th. So you got a small window to market this on. Like, you got 7 practices. You got enough time to kind of divvy up the marketing, push Caitlin Clark across, along with her teammates, of course, make her look like the background. Everybody's getting their shine. And if she doesn't play that much, she's still part of the team. She can talk to the press. She can address them and say, hey, this isn't my year. I'm learning a lot from Kelsey Plum, how to shoot off the dribble, how to get to my spots, and the physicality. That's the one thing we're missing in the international sports. It is very, very physical. If Caitlin Clark, but if she can get exposed to that early, right, it can unlock something in her. Now when she's getting, bumped and shoved in the WNBA during the regular season and eventually the postseason, now it doesn't faze her as much. Now she can look like the super megastar that everybody's projecting her to be. You're almost hindering her by not showing this to her sooner. If she's going to be the face of your league and she's good enough to be on the roster, we're not acting like she's some scrub.
So being good on a bad team. She's good on a bad team.
Well, obviously they got the number 1 pick. They're going to be a bad team. She's not going to get drafted to the Aces or the Sun.
I think that it would make more sense if this was held in the United States, in my opinion, because then, yes, and the Team USA committee is completely separate from the WNBA and all of that. Right. So they don't, I'm not saying they don't care, but their goal is to put a team together that's going to win the gold for the United States. So they could care less about if it's going to make money for the WNBA. They want to show everybody that they can put together the best roster, go out there, win, and bring home gold. Yes, they could have, like I said earlier, like we said, they could have sacrificed one spot just to have her on there. But why? Why in the end? She's actually going to, as long as she stays healthy, and that's a key. Yes, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. No, we don't. And somebody, and one of those roster members, I don't wish nothing on anybody, but something could happen and she might slip in. It's not that she's completely out. They just didn't pick her for the initial roster. But if we know that as long as everything goes to plan, she'll have time. And you put the best out there. And if I was, like I said earlier, I would put Angel Reese. And of course, you're talking about from the perspective of, getting more eyeballs. But for the game, I would put Angel Reese in there. She's getting used to the physicality. So I think she'd be a good person to put out there against those foreign players. But, she's not as big as Caitlin Clark. I understand that. But if we're talking the game, then Caitlin Clark is definitely not needed. You got players that are better than her. that do the same thing she does for the most part and can do it on both ends. So you got her spot covered. If you didn't, if she was just that head and shoulders above those wing players, then yes, but she's not. And she turns the ball over a lot. She's not ready for the physicality. So just putting her in the spot, then you're going to have the other side that's going to say they're showing favoritism and, you know, she's only on there because she's considered the face of the WNBA, which isn't fair to her there either because she probably doesn't want that special treatment. She wants to earn it. So obviously they didn't think she earned it. So she's going to miss out on this one. And she has plenty more opportunities. As long as she stays healthy, she will be a part of the women's team USA, just not now.
There's just so much history that points to them giving her the nod when they've given Christian Laettner the nod over Shaquille O'Neal. They've given, you know, Old Bird, Old Magic the nod over Isaiah Thomas and Clyde Drexler. But I won't get into it. Just understand that we'll just agree to disagree. But there's just so much history there that just points to the fact that she should be on this team. And considering how depleted the market is for the WNBA, I just thought it would have been two birds in one stone. You get her on the roster, you build the narratives, you continue to drive that cash cow until it runs dry. And
okay, so let me ask you this then. Do you think they did that purposely? You think they purposely left her off because there's some vendetta against her, they don't like her, something of that nature? You think these women on that committee, women and men on that committee, purposely left Caitlin Clark off?
I don't think they purposely left her off. I just think they're not seeing the bigger picture. I would go more that they just missed the ball. And I'm not saying they're wrong in their decision. If this is a strictly basketball decision, I understand where they're coming from. But I'm just saying if we're talking about the women that are going to be on this committee, the ones that are going to be benefiting the most from having Caitlin Clark on that team is the women she's playing with, and even the women that she replaces. Right? If we take one person off that team and we put her on there, they're still going to win gold, and the viewership is going to increase. And that is where it's going to pay off because those women will get paid what they actually deserve. It might not happen tomorrow, but it's furthering that progress faster. Like you're getting to that point quicker than, you know, just saying, yeah, Caitlin Clark got her time. So that's another 4 years that you potentially are missing out on viewership and new fans, global fans who want to tune in from Russia or China or wherever. You know, we're not seeing where this can take the WNBA right now. While Caitlin Clark is as hot as she is right now.
But if you're a NBA player, and you've made this roster, you're 30-something years old, you don't have a gold medal. Do you take that opportunity away from them? Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for some of them. The older ones, they're probably not going to get this opportunity again. So do you strip that away from them, maybe for possibly a bigger payday one day? Do you take that away from them to not be able to show their grandkids and their kids, I went to the Olympics and I won a gold medal? You take that away from them just for the potential of having Caitlin Clark out there and getting, you know, this buzz and getting these new fans and all of this. You sacrifice that for one of those players just for that. So that player busted her butt all this time, and you let this rookie come in just because she's got this hype train behind her. You letting her come in, take your spot that you may not ever get again and may not get a chance to get again, and say, okay, well, this might put more money in my pocket one day, potentially. Would you be okay with that? If you were that player that gets cut for Caitlin Clark so she can just be on the team to bring a spotlight, how would you feel? Would you be okay? We'd be like, okay, well, I might get some more money, but I miss out on a gold medal in the Olympics, one of the biggest athletic events ever.
Man, if I got a chance to get paid more than what I'm getting paid now over a gold medal, I'm picking that money.
You don't know that. You're 30-something. You might be cut next season. This might be your final.
What if I get a big payday and because of it? If I'm 36 and let's just say I'm like Diana Taurasi and I can play until I'm almost 44.
But
I can
they
get
don't
another
know
payday.
that. They don't know that. They don't know if they'll be able to play till 44. They might be able to play.
But we don't know if we're gonna
one
win the
more.
gold though. We don't know if we're gonna win the
I mean,
gold.
they might
So am
not,
I
but
sacrificing
you
dollars or am
still
I
want the
am I
opportunity
sacrificing
to
the
win a
money?
gold. And if this is your
I want
last,
money. I want the money.
I
They
mean,
can keep
so
the gold
I
over
mean,
there. I'd get you asking me personally, and I got a chance to get a
but
payday.
being a
I'm
gold
gonna get
medal
paid.
winner is going to bring you money too, sponsorships and all that. So either way,
I mean,
you can get money.
I'm just talking about the league as a whole. They
Yeah,
just
I mean,
the
I
committee
understand
just
what
missed the
you're saying.
ball, and they just didn't do what I thought they should have done. But
Okay, and
that's their
I'm
call.
partially on your side there, but I think they saw this as making basketball decisions, not thinking about the bigger pictures that you say. And that's fine. I mean, that's what that's what they're hired to do, is make the right basketball decisions. So
I agree.